Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on The Accursed, a horror movie about a woman who's like a nurse for an older woman, and just about every horror movie thing happens. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. I will be on a podcast tonight at 8 p.m., the OBG 70 podcast. OBG 70, it's called. So that starts at 8 if you want to tune in and possibly get involved in the chat. I don't know how much chat they do. I've never been on the show before. I'll be at the Collingswood Book Fair tomorrow at the Collingswood High School Saturday, and then Sunday, FanCon at the Vineland Public Library. So come out if you can. I know it's going to rain, but it's all going to be inside, so we should be good. Now, this movie. They cram just about every horror movie thing in this. And it's a good setup. I mean, she's some kind of nurse, and she's going to move into this house in the middle of nowhere, run by what the hell's her name? I forget. And there's an old woman, and she's weird and recluse, and she's got lots of problems, and there's all sorts of demonic stuff in the house. Just crazy amount of demonic stuff. It's dark in the house all the time. There's also a little girl, I don't know why, from the director of Willy's Wonderland. Is that the one with Nick Cage, or am I thinking of a different movie? Can't remember. But all sorts of terrible, creepy things happen. She keeps opening her mouth, and I don't know, like flies buzz in and out. It's gross. And then she finds this. I mean, like, you know, it's just like a montage of all these things and jump cuts, and it's just like, oh yeah, and then this. Like, oh yeah, sure, that makes sense. So, and then a hand comes out of her mouth in a weird effect. I mean, I guess it looks scary. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. October 4th, theaters and on demand. So, you know, it's a Halloween movie. So there's that. Screenplay by Rob Kennedy, directed by Kevin Lewis. So, Sarah Gray. For a second, I thought it said Sasha Grey, and then I was like, Sasha Grey's in a movie? Like a real movie? Meg Foster, Sarah Dumont, Sherman Augustus, Colleen Knapp, Jennifer Silverstein, Annette Van Clegren, Troy James, with Alexis Knapp, and Mina Savari. That's the one. I sort of know her. I certainly recognize the name. Looks all right, I guess. I mean, the setup's good, you know? The setup of having an isolated area, an old woman, it's already creepy and gross. And, you know, they make her creepy and gross. I'm not saying all old women are creepy and gross, but they're making her creepy and gross. She's in a dark house in the middle of nowhere. You got, I mean, these are all horror movie tropes, right? A dying person, house in the middle of nowhere, strangely, you know, prudish, you know, I don't know, she's a keeper of the house or whatever, the prior nurse, demonic entity roaming around in the Accursed. For whatever reason, she's accursed. So I would break this down. First act, you know, they establish the nurse. Oh, I'm going to this house. I got this great job. Oh, and her friend drives her, and she's like, oh, this is creepy. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, ha ha ha. And then she goes in and meets her, and she sets the whole thing up. Doesn't really answer all her questions. You know, kind of like in this odd scene, which is a good setup because it's like she didn't quite answer her questions. And it's like she's not listening to her. She's too busy like greasing the wheels so she can get the hell out of there, right? She probably leaves, I'm going to guess. And then, you know, the whole place is creepy and weird, but she's got a gig and she's going to tough through it, right? Then the second act is a little harder to discern because the trailer doesn't give you much to go on, but she starts taking care of her and she's gross and creepy and there's weirdness. And then I think there's a little girl somewhere in the mix that she ends up talking to. I'm not sure who she is because they don't establish really any of the characters other than the nurse and the old lady, but So I'll guess maybe she's the next door neighbor's kid that, or maybe the granddaughter. But then where's the mom? Maybe Mina stays in it for longer or leaves and it tends to come back. I don't know. So things just escalate, right? They get weirder and weirder. Eventually people start disappearing. She starts seeing things, demonic things. There's a glimpse of like some kind of demonic creature. There's a hand coming out of her mouth. I guess it's, yeah, this is it. The hand's coming out of the mouth, and then later in the video, there's like a demonic entity. There he is, I think. You can really see him. Here, I'll play a few seconds. So you can kind of, just for a second, you see him. So I imagine that happens in the third act, and then she has to, she has to escape the house and escape the demon or whatever it is. The end. Does she, or does she become the new of the Accursed for the sequel? Looks all right, I guess. I mean, it's hard to tell from this. Not a great trailer. Not really drawing me in. Other than the creepy stuff, which just, I mean, you're hitting all the notes, but not in any particular order for me. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I'm not really sure of the story. It doesn't look all that intriguing. The setup's pretty good. I'll say that. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's a little dark. I don't like horror movies that are too dark. Like, literally, like, darkness. Like, I can't see things. That kind of annoys me because I want to be able to see the damn movie. And I don't want to just be like, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, this is scary, but what the hell's happening? Like, I don't want it that dark. But, it's kind of a thing in horror movies, I guess. It's going to be, so it's October 14th. I don't think people are going to flock to the movie theaters for this, but it looks like a harmless enough download, If you're looking for something for your Halloween party or just you and the SO sitting on the couch or whatever and you want to watch a scary movie, I mean, how bad could it be? A lot. That's the thing with a sort of a standard horror movie. It's going to be scary at least, right? I mean, it doesn't look laughably bad, so I think it'd be all right. Anything to write home about? I don't know. Is this based on anything? Sounds like sounds like an old title. I don't think so. Maybe it's based on a book, but they don't say. So not a lot of info here. But, I would lean towards probably not watching it. Just because, like, it just looks too tropey to me. But if you're looking for a horror movie, I mean, I suppose there are worse ones. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. And we'll see you in the next one.